It's Paul from Paul's World of Movies here, and today we're going to look at a film based on a computer game called the computer game's called Silent Hill, and this is the latest in a bit of a reboot for the series, or the franchise, imaginatively titled Return to Silent Hill. This movie, like I say, is heavily based on the game Silent Hill, and so there will be people that will probably like this film. It's a little bit different from a conventional horror, that's for sure. So anybody who's not familiar with the first film, which was made in the early 2000s, is basically about Silent Hill is a town that's been left, not abandoned completely, but left, and it's quite a morbid and sad place, built on top of a coal vein, a vein of coal which is ignited and keeps burning, and so most people have left this town. In the first film, very quickly, the young girl of a young couple keeps dreaming of Silent Hill, and so the mother and the young girl decide to go to Silent Hill to see what's the attraction and why their daughter keep having these nightmares about Silent Hill. And the young girl gets to this town and disappears, and so the mother has to find her, and that's the first film. Now this one, Return to Silent Hill, there's one in between called Resurrection, but we're not talking about that one. We're talking about Return to Silent Hill. Now this one is a new release. It's 106 minutes long, directed by Christoph Gaines, who directed the first film but did not do the second film, and it stars Jeremy Irving, a British actor called James, and Hannah Anderson, who's known as Mary. Now, how this all happens? James is an alcoholic. He's getting support by a psychiatrist, and while he is under the influence of alcohol, he finds a letter in his apartment, which is a letter from Mary, and which asks him to come and find her. Now, they split up sometime previous, we don't know how long, but some while ago, and they used to live together in Silent Hill, so it must have been a while ago. Anyway, he immediately jumps his car, drunk or not, and drives to Silent Hill. Now, from Silent Hill, like in the original film, he then goes around trying to find Mary, who he believes is at Silent Hill. Now, while he's going around Silent Hill, what happens is they keeps bumping into strange characters. There's a woman quite early on who's a little bit odd. There's a young girl, and there's another woman later on. And on top of all that, I mean, he's asking them where Mary is, blah, 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 and most of them don't seem to know who Mary is or where she is, so they're not an awful lot of help, but they're a bit odd, not surprisingly, in a strange place. But in between those moments, there's the bits that create the so-called horror in this film, because what it comes across is some very weird characters. So we have, what do we have? We have a corridor full of nurses, which sounds interesting, but they're all weird, and they're all sort of not frozen, they're kind of like just standing there all distorted, and at certain times they come alive, and when they come alive they've all got some sort of weapon in their hand, and James has to get through down this corridor to get by them. So there's some adventure there, and while these nurses are moving around, they're slashing each other and being quite nasty, and it's blood and guts and stuff. So there's that going on. There's a couple of other things. There's this weird creature that's out in the street, which happens to be in the first film as well. Well, the nurses are in the first film as well. And what it is, it's like it looks like a little bit like a person in a straitjacket with their hands behind their back, and they've got a hole in their chest which spits out black acid. Yeah, that's what I thought. But anyway, it's weird, but obviously James has to avoid this as well. And there's a couple of more of these in the streets and stuff. So that's going on. And then on top of that, as well as meeting a couple of other people, there's a guy he meets, I think his name's Eric, in one of the apartments. For some reason, he's puking up in a toilet, which would make me puke up seeing the toilet. But anyway, and they come across Pyramid Head, this giant of a man who's got this huge pyramid thing on his head, who's very strong. No idea why he's what he is and why he does what he does. That's not explained, or at least I don't know. Maybe it's explained in the game. I'm not too familiar with it. But yeah, so this pyramid man tries to. He's got this huge knife. That's right. He's got this huge knife, and he tries to kill anything that he sees, including James, poor fella. All the while, he's still trying to find this Mary. Then he bumps into another lady that looks remarkably like Mary, with blonde hair. And together, as you find in a lot of these sort of films, they team up to try to find Mary. I won't say any more than that. We'll just leave it at that point. So there's some idea of what this film is about. Now, what the hell is going on with this film? It's strange. It's simple. It's basically someone looking for somebody. The horror is basically something to throw it at you every now and again. None of it makes sense. There's no reason why the nurses are trying to kill James. There's no reason why Pyramid Head is trying to kill James. They just do. So what that means, I don't know. Again, if you're not familiar with the film, it might make more sense. But it certainly didn't make a lot of sense to me. And I have seen the original Silent Hill, as I mentioned earlier. So, and they're very similar in a lot of ways. I mean, that's a big thing for me, is the storyline is basic as. The horror moments are only there to distract you from all the following James run around corridors in more dingy and dingier places, very much like the first film. And with not a terrible lot going on, to be fair. And the bit that really upsets me was the whole thing, or it seemed like the whole thing, may be wrong, but the whole thing seemed to be just a CGI fest. Just about everything. The nurses apparently were dancers in both films, so they were real. James is obviously real. I think Mary's real, most of it. So yeah, so that's cool. And the main characters are real, but it's odd. I'm sure it's deeper than I'm thinking, but I try to take it on face value, and I'm trying to understand it, but I just find it very strange. When I went and see it in the movies the other day, there was a few people there, and I don't believe anybody actually walked out of that movie knowing what was going on. Or a lot of rumblings, a little moans about, what the hell was that? What did we just see? And I'm afraid that's kind of how I saw it too. It was, I won't say it's a complete waste of time, but it wasn't far off. So would I recommend this film? And if you're a big fan, I get it, right? I get it. You probably will enjoy this film. Me, no. I certainly wouldn't see it again, that's for sure. Not even if you paid me to go and see it, I probably wouldn't bother. I wouldn't waste my time. But, you know, I'm sure there's an audience for this. It's a reboot, so I don't know. Will they make another one? Maybe. But what would concern me if they do make another one is it's going to be just like the first one and the third one. Because it sounds like they've run out of ideas already. So, yeah, so there we go. So I gave it a massive 4 out of 10, which is mainly because I liked some of the creatures, because they're so off the wall. They're so weird. The nurses look great, but just, what the hell was that? Pyramid Head? What? That's crazy. And that creature thing with the spitting acid was a pretty cool creature too, but as far as the film went, what the hell? Well, certainly didn't give me nightmares, certainly didn't bother me. I just didn't think much of it. I'm sorry. So, yeah, let me know what you think if you've seen this film, or if you're a big fan. I'm sure you won't be too happy with this review, but hey, yeah, it's my opinion, and we're all entitled to them. So let's keep it on a nice, even keel, and be friendly. And so whether you like it or not, please say what you think. We like to hear people's thoughts. And, yeah, so that's it for today, and I will see you, as always, at the movies.
See you later, you cutie patootie.